Alright, y'all, so it's time for the new updated Giyu guide for Demon Slayer the Hinokami Chronicles 2. I had to do this guide, man. I did a bunch of them in Demon Slayer 1. I'm saying the best Giyu, what's best to show off the combos, right? Who's best to show it off, right? So in this game, I'm gonna get like straight to the point, right? I'm gonna show you all the optimal routes to go for in rank and whatnot. But in this game, I will say that Giyu has pretty much the same, move set, like same combos and all that. So nothing's really different. But his water wheel does way more damage, and because it's way more damage, it's his optimal starter for the most damage he can possibly get. So the highest damage you can get, let's start off with some optimal combos with Giyu, right? The most optimal one you can start with, like I said, is Water War, right? So this is the Giyu's most optimal combo for the most damage he can possibly do for 4 bars a meter. Grab. So basically, Water Wheel into constant flux. Wait till them to fall a little bit, because if you do it while they're too high in the air, the flux won't connect. Say Water Wheel, flux, wait for them to fall a little bit, Water Wheel, flux, and then you're able to grab. In the last game, if you did a grounded flux, you weren't even able to grab like at all. Like you didn't even have time. So now you have way more time to grab people even with a grounded flux. Because what I mean by grounded flux is, starting from here, you didn't have time to grab. You had to start from like the air to even get a grab off. You know what I mean? But obviously you get the point. So that's his most optimal combo right there. So let's say if you start off with flux, you could do something light like this. Then if there's a wall, so you don't get the clashes to the wall, bam. That's 2 bars for 39%. So I know it's kind of just scrambling my words right there. So the reason why you do flux, you'll most likely end up near a wall a lot of times, and it'll make you whiff your grab. So I just move to the side, flux, so I can get the grab up every time. So 39% for 2. Now you can also, because the heavy input in this game, alright, is different, you can still incorporate it into the flux, right? Another optimal combo. You just wait a little bit, grab. Look at that, 41% for 3 bars. Not bad, see? So you got the water wheel starter, you got the flux starter. Alright, so I showed you how the water wheel start. That's the most optimal combo. I showed you how the constant flux. Then you do, and then also you could also do flux. If you're close enough, you could do this. But you see, because of the walls right there, your grab will whiff. So that's why I like the flux. Heavy. Move to the side. Make sure I get the grab off. Bam, get the grab up every time. 41% damage right then and there. So like I said, since flux isn't the most optimal starter, you'll be water wheeling in the air. Obviously you don't want to water wheel in the air like this. You're only gonna get 700 damage. Well, 950 actually, I lied. You get 950 the most if you water wheel from the air. But you can still do, if you, just in case you do get somebody from the air, you could just see how inconsistent that could be, right? Just in case you do get somebody in the air, you could do water wheel, heavy, grab. You get the picture. But obviously you'd have to move away from the wall in order for you to connect the grab every time. A lot of times, right, when it comes to your matches anyway, you'll probably connect with a dash, so you just light, water wheel, move to the side. 37%. That's usually probably what will happen anyways in rank. You'll probably confirm with a dash. So you do light, grab, 35%. So obviously when you dash, it adds like 100 damage. So it does scale your combo a little bit, but you get the picture. Most of the time I'm usually like connecting with a dash, but like if you do it a light, you could do light. You could do light into water wheel and then flux. Then move to the side, free dash, flux again, grab. So you guys pretty much get the picture. 42%, right? You guys pretty much get the picture. That's like, this is pretty much the most optimal route you could possibly do for this man Giyu, right? You either water wheel into flux. That's like his most obvious one. Every time you in flux, I know there's input delay online. You want to do heavy, you could do heavy, but it's more strict time. You just have to wait a little bit. But like I said, you're gonna be seeing this a lot. You're pretty much gonna be seeing that a lot. So these are pretty much the most optimal combos you could possibly do. Now you could obviously start to freestyle your combos, jump and keep doing flux. But you're not really gonna get that much out of it. Well, 40%, but you wasted more bar when you could have wasted less bar, if you guys get what I'm saying. So now that I got that out the way, right? There's also another route I should show you guys. You see, water wheel, flux, heavy, water wheel. You can do that, but that's 44%. Then you could do this. Move to the side. I probably did earlier that already, but that's 45% right there. So now we get to the juicy part. Now you guys are probably wondering, what's the juicy part, right? The dead calm. Now, obviously, when you hit a dead calm, you want to know what's the most optimal starter you should do. And it's kind of the same thing as the old game, right? As the Demon Slayer 1. You want to incorporate the heavy. The longer you hold your heavy, the more damage you end up doing. I'm going to show you guys the most optimal dead calm route. Move to the side. Bam. Look at that. 52%. Obviously, you just wasted your entire toolkit. You know, you got 52% if you start with a dead calm. So you always want to hold it. Move to the side. Make sure you're not near the wall. Grab. 52%. That's the most optimal you can do with dead calm. So like I said, in the older Demon Slayer, you probably could get more. Damage is definitely a bit different in this game, and you know, dead calm is still not frame 1. So you could do different things, but just make sure you hold your heavy all the way. That's pretty much the gist of it. But that's basically Giyu's all his most optimal combos. Obviously, even with how I showed you guys with the dead calm starter, that you can obviously do different routes as well if y'all want to. Like you could hold it. But regardless, you either get 50% regardless of what you do. But that with the water wheel, like I said, because the water wheel is his most optimal starter, you would want to start with the water wheel first. So that's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty much all I have to show you guys. Like, to be honest, when it comes to his optimal combo routes, it's pretty much almost the same as his it's almost the same routes as the last game, but it's just a little bit different. You can get a little bit creative with it, but those combos, those are the most optimal routes so far. I like these new changes. Giyu still does a decent amount of damage. The scaling is a bit there, but I think overall Giyu does a tad bit more damage than he did in the last game. So Giyu's looking pretty healthy this game, but that's all I gotta show y'all, to be honest. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
No one else we can dream. I can be the one.